Hey guys, I'm meteorologist Chris Tomer. Let's talk some mountain weather, and this is the On the Snow, Snow Before You Go forecast. First up, spider chart here, odds of best snow next 5 to 7 days, and where you see more purple higher on the chart, that represents a better chance of new snow, and in some cases, significant snow. I like parts of Colorado, especially the western slope. I like the Wasatch, Tetons, parts of Idaho, absolutely California, northern New Mexico. I like the Pacific Northwest and BC. I think all those areas are going to see a lot of snow with 1 to 2 additional, here's my bullet points, additional atmospheric river surges through 117, and then the flow fades and it gets cut off by a changing jet stream, which I'll show you that jet stream here coming up, but still looking at big totals with these remaining 2 surges. And then we're going to look at the late January pattern just briefly as well. But let me take you into the jet just because I mentioned this. So look at this on 120. The jet is completely different. It's ridging across the west coast, which means it's arcing to the north. And that's going to send energy down through Montana it'll come out of BC, come out of Banff, shoot down through Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. It's north to south flow. Now this is different. When we were in the heart of that 15-day atmospheric river setup, the jet was west to east, consolidated, but that's not the case of what you see right here. It's very amplified. So things are definitely going to be changing. Here is the water vapor right now. So oranges and reds represent drier air aloft, and we've still got some big boys ahead as far as activity. Big low pressure right here. There's a low sliding out of Colorado, and then there's another big boy right here. So the flow, if I put in the atmospheric river, is right up in here. And it's still firing into the west coast. So these lows entrain the moisture, and then they carry it in. That's the way this typically happens. And this is the atmospheric river forecast over the next 16 days. This is the entrainment or probability of IVT, or integrated vapor transport. And that happens, and you can see it happens all the way through 116, 117 with the brighter colors. Then after that, the flow really dries up. And this is by latitude. And you can see that the flow really dries up after 117. So that's the way it looks at this point. Let me show you how this is going to play out. Forecast, radar, and satellite. Here we go. Thursday morning at 6, Pacific Northwest BC getting nailed continuously. There's Friday morning at 6. It's just waiting on it. Here it comes, the last big surge, 14-15. West Coast moves the moisture into the interior, and it's still firing on 16 into California. There's actually like a couple different low pressures. That's why it comes in waves. But this is the last big surge through 116, 117, and then all that moisture gets moved into the interior. So that's the finale right there on 116 at 8:45. Still a lot of moisture to move through, but that's the last frame on this future radar and satellite. All right, let me talk about snow totals. So all of 112, the rest of all of 112 through 120, so that entire period, that entire 8 to 9 day period, a lot of totals, another 30 to 60 in California and the Sierra. I'm looking at probably 3 feet up there in the Pacific Northwest, maybe more up towards Whistler, and Baker could be pushing 4 feet during that period. I think interior BC does all right with about a foot, maybe pushing 2 feet, but less up in parts of Banff and Sunshine. Not as much makes it into that area with this type of flow. Probably 1 to 2 feet will do it in the Tetons, and easily 2 feet, I think, for the Wasatch during that period. And Snowbowl and Brian Head do well as well. In Colorado, the western slope gets 1 to 2 feet, maybe more over southwest Colorado in the mountains there in the San Juans. And in northern New Mexico, anywhere from probably 12 to 18 inches will do it. All right, one more stop. Here we are in the northeast. All of 112 through the 120 period. There's a storm that comes in on the 12th and the 13th. Starts as snow, goes over to rain. That's not where you get a lot of this. Most of this comes with the potential for a storm later down the road on 119 and 120. So otherwise, you'll have snow on 112 that changes over to rain as that storm system comes in into 113. So there you go, guys. There's the update. Always appreciate you tuning in here. Again, this is the On the Snow, Snow Before You Go forecast. Take care.